Serious lawyers, what's a case you regretted winning? Family law is a little different in that you never really win, per se. You may get more favorable rulings or better terms. But unless the opposing party did something illegal or mind-bogglingly stupid, it's never a decisive win, really. Although I did have a case where my client fought really hard for the dog, and then ended up turning him over to a shelter. Fucking asshole. The ex-wife received an anonymous tip and was able to get him back quickly. So the fight wasn't even for the dog. It was just to take something she loved away from her. Jesus. Divorce really can bring out the absolute worst in people. It really can. But there's the other side too. I've had couples who genuinely cared about the other person's well-being and wanted me to make sure they were provided for. I've had clients who let their partner keep the pets even though it killed them. But they knew how much they meant to the opposing party. There's good and bad in all of us. We choose which we want to be. As a personal injury attorney, I've seen a few clients win the blue-collar lotto, or getting more money than they reasonably know how to deal with. I do my best to educate them, but my job is to try and maximize their recovery, not teach them finance. I have definitely contributed to a few drug habits. As a personal injury attorney, do you still represent them if you think they are faking? That's a reasonable question. The answer is that I'm not a doctor. I refer people to doctors I trust. If I don't think a doctor is being honest, then I won't work with that person anymore. I do have one client that I have refused to represent again because I'm not sure he isn't causing accidents on purpose. Thanks for the reply. The one where the client never paid. / edit. Clarification, explanation. When I was a young associate, I was assigned to do a civil commercial trial for a client that was not happy with the senior partner. He stopped paying. We moved to withdraw. The court refused to allow us to withdraw and forced us to go to trial. Spend a significant amount of time in trial prep, etc. I win the trial. Client never pays. Client's position was that my boss screwed up the deal and that there never should have been a dispute trial to begin with. Firm policy prohibits us from suing clients because that causes a drastic increase in malpractice premiums -9 times out of 10 if you sue a client for non-payment. They will countersue for malpractice. I was in for jury selection a few years back, and they were doing a void of a business attorney in the box. You don't do any criminal work, correct? Quote, no. Mostly real estate law. Okay. So what do you know about the practice of criminal law? Quote, get the money in advance. I think it was Preet Bharara who said recently one of his professors had 3 rules for criminal law. 1. Get the money in advance. 2. If someone goes to jail, make sure it isn't you. 3. Get the money in advance. Did a divorce where the husband, who I was representing, wanted to trade custody of his children for a set of bedroom furniture. The bedroom furniture was not even like a family heirloom, monsieur. It was furniture that you could probably get at a rooms to go or something. Ugh, still makes me ill. That's why I got out of family law. Edit. I'd honestly like to thank all of you for your various points of view on this particular pain point in my career. For the record, yes, I did win that particular point, but it did not fill me with any joy. But those who said that it was probably for the best, perhaps you're right. Thank goodness he fought for the furniture and not the kids. If that's the kind of dad he would be, choosing objects over his children. I do juvenile work, criminal law and family law. I represented this client first when he was a juvenile charged with disorderly conduct at school and fighting. Then when he became an adult, it was for simple things like possession of marijuana. As he got older, it became easier and easier to figure out what part of his life hasn't gone as well as it could. I tried to counsel him and push him to better himself. He got his GED. He started going to NA. He started classes at a community college and found a part-time job. On the night of his 21st birthday, he was charged with a DWI. Of course I'll take care of that too. About 6 months later, we are due in court for trial on a Monday, and he doesn't show up, which at this point in his life is highly unusual, as I'm trying to figure out where he is. The court starts going over arraignments, first appearances, and then lo and behold 3 people are up for murder charges. The prosecution starts to tell the judge what the facts and circumstances of the case are, and mentions a few victims' names. Apparently, my client was at a party when these 3 individuals decided to allegedly do a drive-by shooting. My client suffered multiple gunshot wounds and didn't make it to the hospital. So, by default, as you can't prosecute a dead person, the state has to take a dismissal. I guess technically a win. Either way, it was crushing to me, as I thought he had really turned his life around. He had. Edit. Wow, this really blew up. Thanks for all the positive comments. And the bling. Also, since some people asked for clarification or were confused. 1. I truly believe he was on the right path forward. 2. GED equals high school equivalency diploma. 3. NA equals Narcotics Anonymous. 4. DWI equals driving while impaired. Prosecuted a murder case. 21-year-old kid starts dating an older guy's ex-girlfriend. The older guy, real roughneck, loose connections with a local biker gang, was going all over his small town talking about how he was going to kick the kid's ass. The older guy sends some nudes of the ex while he's getting drunk at a bar. So the kid says something smart-ass in response. Older guy comes to the kid's house to fight. Hi monsieur, the kid shoots him once, and the older guy dies. Jury didn't buy self-defense or castle doctrine. Convicted of voluntary manslaughter. 20 years. Burned up his appeals with no luck. I have a son about the kid's age. I could totally imagine him doing the exact same things if he were in a similar situation. Shit's going to haunt me until I die. No doubt about it. Started thinking about other work the moment the verdict came back. Wow, the guy threatened the kid, came into his house uninvited, drunk, for the purpose of causing him bodily harm, and the kid was convicted of manslaughter? That's insane. There must be some important details that we're missing here. Edit. Asterisk, getting a lot of conjecture and political soapboxing here. No, it wasn't a blue state. I was wrong. The biker never entered the younger guy's home. Apparently the younger guy had words with him over the phone, text, and told him to try it, or come and get some, or the such. Basically starting shit with the drunk guy, and then met him outside his house and shot him in the yard. Dude basically set a trap. Manslaughter makes more sense now. Asterisk. Insane. But it happened. And, yes, there are some details left out, but that's pretty much the guts of the case. Women wanted her daughter custody. We used the state preference about custody going to the mother. Judge bias, her improved economical situation, and some minor garbage like her grades and discipline problems at school to discredit the dad. Not even a month after we won, the mother calls and says she had a problem. Then she explains the problem was that her BF raped the girl, and after that she had the gall to ask we pick up his defense. One of the things that made me quit the gov work, that poor girl, her mother has totally failed her, was representing the government at a social benefits tribunal. The applicant was an autistic man who was struggling to make ends meet but was trying his absolute best to contribute everything he could to society. He had a job where his manager was very accommodating and he was a very sympathetic person. He just wanted the extra cash to make his life a little easier for himself. Sadly, he didn't qualify for the benefit, but I think he deserved it. My closing argument was that no matter how much we empathized with this man, no matter how deserving we thought he was, he simply didn't qualify, and the tribunal had to apply the law. He was unsuccessful, and when I left the building to head back to my office, he was just sitting outside on the curb crying. That image has stuck with me for a few years. Pretty heartbreaking. Edit. For those of you that are sending me words of support, thank you. That was the lowest point in my career and I have moved on. It's really important to remember that mental health in the legal profession is a very real issue that is killing people. There aren't sufficient supports in place to help people like me and many others who find themselves in positions like this. For those telling me I'm a horrible person, you literally can't say anything that will make me feel worse about this, so please have some compassion. I work elsewhere and provide a much-needed service to my country and my community. I also donate to a mental health charity on a monthly basis. What are you doing to fight unfair systems? Also, in case you aren't aware, social benefits are a finite resource. Often, the criteria for qualification are strict. Not everyone can receive it. Otherwise there wouldn't be enough to go around. The particular system I was working in was a needs-based system. Those with the most severe disabilities met the criteria and I often advocated on their behalf despite the government's initial position if I felt they met the criteria. After law school I clerked for a judge on the Third Circuit and saw many appeals re-denied benefits, where it was clear that the appellant was suffering and sympathetic, but not entitled to relief under the law. It was hard enough to deal with it on the dry facts of the briefs. So I can only imagine the emotional burden you had at the trial hearing stage. Guy lost his wife and children in a car accident. He wanted to exercise to get his emotions and mental health back in check. Doctor wrote him recommendations for exercise equipment, ball, chin-up bar, nothing crazy, and he submitted the expenses for same to his insurer. Client, insurer, adjuster, wanted this fought tooth and nail because exercise equipment was only covered for physical rehab, and he was not physically injured. I do not practice in this area anymore. It always amazes me when I hear of someone spending probably several thousand to fight paying a few hundred. I once witnessed a legal battle over $65 that probably cost both parties 10 to 30 times that, and due to the nature of the organizations involved, it wasn't like there were going to be legal expenses awarded to the winner. I actually asked, WTF, don't we just pay the complainant $65 out of our own pockets and call it a day? Quote, the simple answer is that these payments aggregate. Once someone figures out anything under $X amount gets paid, then hundreds of thousands of BS claims come in. You fight the little shit now as a means for future fraud deterrence. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.